Aisha, and I'm going to be the first speaker for the negative side, and I'm going to let you know why we should keep tenure. Okay, so I'd just like to start off by pointing their definition and kind of giving a little background of why tenure was created in the first place. Before tenure, a common problem was hiring of a relative, friend, or corny of a board member to replace a good teacher. That was especially true after election of new members to a board school. One of the earliest indications that we needed tenure occurred in Los Angeles City schools in the mid-1890s. Two school board members demanded a month's pay to guarantee a teacher's reappointment for the coming year. San Francisco educator Kate Kennedy was dismissed by local board primarily for her association with Henry George and the single tax movement. The Red Scare following World War I shows what can happen without tenure. The Los Angeles superintendent imposed a loyalty oath on the city's teachers with intent to fire any who professed support for the IWW, a radical but legal labor union. The state superintendent investigated radical literature in the state public schools. His targets, the New Republic, the nation, and those teachers who referred them. So basically, tenure was established because teachers were being forced to follow certain views even though they didn't believe them, and if they didn't follow them, then they would have to be eliminated and kicked out of the schools. So it was protection for teachers' rights. And they mentioned that it's redundant and that we already have the 14th Amendment out there, but the 14th Amendment doesn't provide teacher security whatsoever. It has nothing to do with that. The Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment, like its counterpart in the 5th Amendment, provides that no state may deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process. This clause also applies to public school districts and provides the minimum procedural requirements that each school district must satisfy. So it's only the minimum requirements that it must satisfy. It's not protecting all of teachers' rights if they decide that they do not want to join an organization that they're being forced on, as they were in the 1890s. Note that in this context, due process does not prescribe the reason why a teacher may be dismissed, but rather it prescribes the procedures a school must follow to dismiss a teacher. So it doesn't provide security, but it just talks about procedures for teachers if they want to be dismissed. It's not guaranteeing them any rights, it's just showing the procedure that a teacher would have to go through if they were planning to be dismissed. The United States Supreme Court case of Cleveland Board of Education versus Louder May is a leading cause involving the question of what due process is under the Constitution. This case provides that a tenured teacher must be given oral or written notice of the dismissal and the charges against him or her. Again, the due process is not guaranteeing you any rights, it's just showing the process for dismissing a teacher if you need to. They also argue that tenure is easy to attain. It's not actually. Michigan's new laws require teachers to complete 5 years of probation instead of 4. Tenure would be granted only to those teachers who rated effective or better on the 3 most recent annual evaluations. New teachers rated effective or better in the first 3 years on the job, however, could receive tenure at that time. So you have to prove yourself before you're given tenure. It's not you walk into the classroom, you teach for a day, and you get tenure. It's not that easy. Tenured teachers could be placed back on probation after 2 years of being rated ineffective. So if a teacher is tenured and they are rated ineffective, they have to go back on probation and prove themselves again. So once you have tenure, it's not a guaranteed process, nor is it easy to keep. In addition, they're moving towards making tenure itself more stricter and regulating it better so that it continues to get harder to get tenure, because we know teaching is such a field that you need good teachers and you need some sort of protection out there for them. Before any teacher earns tenure, he or she must successfully complete 3 years of full employment. So you have to, before you even get tenure, you have to be working for 3 years. With at least 4 evaluations in those years, and that began at a 4th year. At any time during that 3-year probationary period, a district can remove a teacher without even giving a reason. So tenured teachers can be removed without any reason. So as you can see, tenure still needs to be reformed because teachers aren't getting the real rights they should. They still need more rights. They can be removed for any reason, even if they are tenured. That just shows you that tenure is continuing to be reformed. And they said that teachers can't be fired. That's not true. Under the tenure law, teachers are at will employees for 3 years, during which time they can be fired for any reason. So you don't need a reason to fire a tenured teacher. They can still get fired. In addition, it doesn't protect the bad teacher. They talked about how it doesn't help students, and students need good teachers, which will thus result in good performance. But tenure doesn't protect bad teachers. The Louisiana Federation of Teachers wrote the following in its March 5, 2009 position paper: Teacher tenure is under attack in Louisiana. Teacher tenure exists for two essential reasons: to protect educators from political and personal retribution, and to guarantee the academic freedom to teach according to the best practices in their fields of expertise. Tenure does not guarantee lifetime employment. It does not protect the unqualified individuals or the incompetent. The most important function of tenure is to provide a due process when questions arise about teachers' qualifications, the ability or suitability to teach. In addition, they talked about how administrators play a part and they let these horrible teachers come into the classroom, and I think they hit the mark. That's the problem. It's not tenure. It's the people who are giving out tenure, the people who are letting these teachers get to tenure. I think that's what we need to focus on. Tenure is still being reformed, and it's not a subject to take lightly. New Jersey is doing things to require the teachers to have a year on the job mentoring process plus 3 consecutive years of good evaluations, but they still have tenure, so they're still revamping the whole system and working around it. But basically, I think we need to focus on is that the tenure system is a good system, but those who are letting people get into the tenure system is where the flaw is at. And they also decided to use the Oregon model as their solution, but we can't guarantee that this model will work for every state because different states do have different laws, and the tenure system has been pretty consistent over the states because that's what everyone's taken some form of the tenure system, but we can't guarantee that everyone's going to take some form of the Oregon system or adopt it. For all those reasons, we believe that the tenure system should be kept because it does protect the good teachers, and it does have security out there for teachers that the due process or any other protection would not be able to give them. Thank you.